Thank you so much, everyone, for staying with us on the program. Let's get to the conversation now. What is the implication, politically speaking, now, electorally? INEC has told us what their decision may be, but politically speaking, what is the implication of court asking Mr. Okorocha to get his certificate of return? When will he get it? That we do not know. Will he get it? Yet we do not know. INEC says that they will consider it and they might give him. Those are the issues on the table. But for Mr. Okorocha, he's going to the National Assembly after 8 years as governor in Imo State. Where does he stand? He's going to join some of his former governor colleagues in the National Assembly. Let's talk to one of the APC members here. There's been crisis also in the APC. Mr. Oshomole, the national chairman of the party, embattled because one of his own says that they do not want him. The former chairman of the party do say that he cannot run the party, but some other chairmen and executives of the party say he can run it. They pass a vote of confidence on him. Let's get talking on this one. Mr. Cletus Oben joins us from Abuja studio. Thank you so much for coming on tonight. What do you think? This is good news for your party, isn't it? Now you have another member added to the Senate in the person of Rochas Okorocha. Should INEC issue him a certificate of return? The implication politically.
Well, let me say it can only get better. It can only get better for the APC. And I do think those who have had to cry about the leadership style of Comrade Adam Oshomole will have to do a rethink, because what we suffered was self-inflicted and never in any way to say that it was a leadership crisis that was outside of us. It was internal. And anybody who has run a political party will agree that it is more difficult to deal with internal political crises within a party than external aggression within a party. Intra-party crises are more difficult to resolve. The reason is because the bitterness from primaries and primordial tendencies, and also most of the time the political interests that play out. So adding another senator after what happened in Zamfara, after the tragedy of Zamfara, we have something to smile home with. Our numbers are swelling by the day, and I do think at the last count, by the time we finish, I suspect even in the South-South, as it's growing in the Southeast, we are going to have our numbers more and more. But the implication for us, for Tuesday, which is the inauguration of the House and the election, it is in the interest of INEC and this country that until our laws are amended, INEC must do the needful, because time is of essence. Justice must be done and done expeditiously, and not just done, but seem to have been done in giving APC its numbers in that House. I do think that what INEC needs to do, because this is an election on its own, giving that certificate of return is an election on its own. So if it conducts elections on Saturdays and sometimes shifts elections out to Sundays, it only confirms that INEC, whatever decision it has to do, has to do so with as much immediacy and urgency as is required for us to get our numbers on the 11th of June 2019, the year of our Lord. Having said so, I want to also make it clear that no law on earth is ever perfect. Each forest of socialization and democratization expands the coast for improvement in the democratic space and in advancement of human society. Therefore, the issue of duress, which is in our jurisprudence, especially in criminal cases, have not been incorporated into our electoral laws. And most of the time, if you are in the courts, you are hearing that election cases and tribunals and election matters are sui generis. They are of a special kind, and therefore will not take the tone and the manner of criminal trials. That is what the court and Justice Abang today just affirmed and confirmed.
Let's look at a bit of the politics of this. Sorry if I'm aborting. A bit of the politics of this. If you look at the screen right now and look at the permutations and some of the arrangement or how it may be altered or may go, we do know that the party, the APC, had said Ahmed Lawan is the choice. Femi Gbajabiamila is the choice of the party. That is what the leadership of the party is saying. And some of the body language of some of the leaders, that is what is saying. But if you look at the arrangement now, in which region of the country should some of these go? For example, we have the president coming from the northwest region of the country, the vice president from the southwest of the country, some of the opinion that if Ahmed Lawan will come from the northeastern region of the country, the Deputy Senate President should come from the south-south or from the southeast. Then it brings me to the question, the addition, pending when INEC will give Rochas Okorocha a certificate of return, what dimension does it bring into the race, into the National Assembly leadership race, coming from a southeast? Does he give him a premise to be able to fight for the Senate, Deputy Senate leadership position?
Well, there is a tradition set not just by this parliament, by most parliaments. Ranking senators are often given first choice of refusal in their appointment and in the election of leadership of the House. And leadership of the House is not a child's play. It is not for just all comers. And he coming in at this point is only for him to settle down. Every leader of the House, there are about 6 positions. You have for instance, in the case of the Senate, you have the Senate President, the Deputy Senate President, you have the whip, you have the leader of the House, you have deputy leaders and all that, about 6 or 7. Therefore, it is only to give a stronghold to the party in each region that these positions are given. Secondly, it is to protect the presidency and ensure that bills and areas of cooperation should not be unnecessarily frosty between the parliament and the executive.
Sorry, Mr. Obun, because of our time, I need to butt in quickly. It is some of the agitation of the people, politicians in the APC from the southeastern region of the country. Does Mr. Okorocha, now Senator-elect Ojuzo Kalu, and his likes who are from the southeast region, if you look at the table and how this permutation is going, the southeast does not look like they have a strong place, because we understand that Senator Omar Agege is favored for the Deputy Senate position. So does the southeast have any opportunity in all of these principal office roles?
I can tell you assuredly that, like I insist and like I inform you now, there are about 6 positions. So almost every geopolitical zone is going to be accommodated in the leadership of the National Assembly in both chambers. There is no way that you will have these 2 senators, one of them not occupying a position. But whether it is going to be deputy or whip or leader of the House is a different matter completely. But I can assure you that the party is not in any way insensitive to it. And I'm sure that Comrade Shewole, along with the leadership, for him to have consulted the president to get Ganduje to step down today, we are left to Ndume to go. 48 hours is like 48 years, and we can handle that situation. And I can assure you that the Southeast will not be left out in the leadership equation of the 9th Assembly. This can be guaranteed, and you can take to the bank. It is not possible to load one particular region with a speaker or president of Senate and still go there to go and get a whip or a leader.
Okay. So the days are drawing closer by the day, and we will be monitoring this situation. But we must sincerely thank you for coming on tonight, Mr. Cletus Obun. Thank you so much for coming on the program tonight. Well, that's our show for today, everyone. Many thanks for watching. It's Friday, and I guess you have some very good plans ahead of the weekend. Do enjoy the rest of your evening, everyone. Bye for now.